Hello race fans, this is MRL Eagle here and we'd like to welcome you to the MRL Moonlight Truck Series race number 4 here at Auto Club Speedway. Looking forward to this one tonight, and I'm also glad to call this tonight alongside whYZee. So welcome to Auto Club, whYZee.
Oh man, I'm excited. Eagle, this is actually my home track, if you can even call it a track anymore. I'm glad that this sim virtual reality still exists, that we still get to keep this track alive in our hearts, because I miss this place and it's one of my favorite places to race. Such a big track, so many lines available to these racers, and they are currently getting warmed up under the lights here in Fontana.
I can't wait either, and this is such a great track, and it's one of the reasons I love iRacing, that we're going to be able to keep this track forever and always, and it might be gone in real life, but we're going to get to race the virtual version of Auto Club Speedway tonight, and we have a large field ready to tackle it, and the challenges that we'll see lie ahead tonight we'll definitely be talking about for sure. But you can take a look here. I believe what we're looking at is the qualifying results. Oh yes, so we have the Zach front row here, Zach Steffens and Zach Panzarella. So the Zach front row starts that off. Follow it in row 2 by Kenneth Redinger and Joseph Volpus. Then in row 3 we got another Zach. Man, the Zach attack tonight. Zach Engel and then Kyle Lynott. Heading up into the next row we got Dalton Geyer and Brandon Ybarra. Rounding out our top 10 we got Richard Swingle as well as Eric Gambrell. Let's go through the next few here. So we have Jeff Pfeiffer and Dylan Schmidt, Dalton Connor, and Brandon Lolis and Chase Greer rounding out our top 15. So whYZee, take us through the finish.
So we got Justin Parham starting up in 16th. I'll be looking for him to run through this field here today, as well as Matt Fritz. He is so quick around this place, is Matthew. Matt Novella, another Matt, and last week's winner at Las Vegas will be rolling off in 18th place. He loves this track. Keep your eye out for him, Eagle. 19th is going to belong to Jay Stinson. 20th will be Chris Calgill. Behind him will be Tommy Fox. Mark Zab will be in 22nd place, followed by Jonathan Casabir. Jake Johnson will be rolling off 24th, with Chris Smith in 25th, Josh Collins 26th, Steve Lewis 27th, Cody Matthews 28th, and we are not done yet. Joseph Amato will be in 29th, Bradley King 30th, Jordan Finnegan 31st, Brendan Shelton will be starting in 32nd, and then only 4 trucks left. That'll be Danny Sanchez at Backpack Racing, Glenn Grigsby, and then 2 trucks that did not put down a qualifying time will be starting from the rear. That'll be Austin Rayborn and Logan Boone. And before we go back to you, Eagle, we have one more guy that we have to go to just real quick. Take it over, Mr. James.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, the star of Universal Pictures movie, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
That always gets me pumped up, Eagle. We got about 30 seconds left in the warm-up, getting ready to grid these boys up.
Yeah, that is, there's no way to start a race. That's the way to start it for sure. So that's awesome. Great stuff. All right, so Auto Club Speedway here. We're going to be lining up 36 cars here tonight. And, you know, what are some predictions here that we've got here? Let's start to think about what we might have here. We've had some large fields already this season. We've had 57 at Daytona. We had 40. I think we had 39 the past 3 weeks. So, you know, we continue to have 30 plus in the field. Do you think the wider track, the larger field, is that going to lead to more cautions, less cautions, more wrecks? I don't know. What are you thinking, whYZee?
I think it's going to be an interesting one for sure. It's hard to predict after what we saw at Vegas. I mean, you think after the Rock, right? Kind of a sloppy race, but you're like, it's the Rock. It's a short track. It's going to happen. We go to Vegas, somewhere that's one of the most straightforward, simple mile-and-a-half cookie cutters, as people like to call them, and it gets even messier. So now we go to a bigger racetrack this time, even more room to race, but these drivers clearly still going through the growing pains of getting to know one another on the racetrack. It's going to be an unpredictable one, and so many drivers are specifically fast here and call this track their favorite.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's important here to add is, you know, you were mentioning about this track being multiple lines, and the question is, what's everyone's preferred line going to be? You know, if everyone wants to ride the high side or the low side, you know, everyone has their preference. And so when we start this race and we go green, it's going to be interesting to see what decisions people make. Are we going to see 3 wide right away in the beginning? Are we going to see that commonplace throughout the race? Or are these guys going to settle down and try to string it out to get a long green run? It really is kind of a toss of the dice. It just depends on, you know, where everyone is lined up when we get the green flag here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. They're currently under the drivers' meeting right now, being told basically what's being emphasized in this league. And it's going to be another interesting race with these drivers. And I think the lane selection is going to be a big thing to follow here today as well. I always am so fascinated by that here. And a big thing that affects that is the weather and the time of day. Here we are underneath the lights at Auto Club. So this could very much end up being more of a top dominant racetrack. It's going to be hard to know early, and these drivers are going to have to figure it out on the fly. It so often changes on the spot.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key. And, you know, being at night, the track's a little grippier, so that could be a positive. And we'll see here, and you can see some of the conditions that are just coming up. That is, we got our lineup up here, so we're ready. We're about ready to go here in just a second. I think the lights are off the pace car here, so we've got the Zach attack here in the front row. Followed by, we have Redinger and Volpus. So yeah, lots and lots of talent here tonight, and I'm really excited to see what it's going to end up being. Nighttime at Auto Club is definitely one of my favorite tracks. Not my home track like yours, but it is really fun to be able to, you know, race side by side and be able to spread out and kind of, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. I don't know. That's all I got to say about it.
This track is a blast, and these guys are going to have fun. Zach Steffen's second run of the season here, so these drivers are going to have to get to know him on the fly. He'll be leading this field to green.
All right, and it looks like we are heading into the Geico restart zone, so here we go. We are going green flag, Zach and Zach on the front row at Auto Club, and here we go. Crossing the line to begin.
These guys are going to probably shake it pretty conservatively into one is what I'd imagine. A really sketchy moment here with these loose tires, loose conditions, I should say, cold tires, and all these drivers already 3 wide, though. We got a loose one.
Yeah, there we go already. Got someone around there. Is he saving it?
Lolis is around. Brandon Lolis, a backpack racing all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. There he is. And he's
with single car.
And it's off the racing surface, so I believe we stay green here.
We're green. Yep, we stay green. Single car off the racing surface. We are all good to go.
Everyone besides Brandon Lolis, thankful that just happened, as he's going to need a caution to catch the field back up front. Already looking intense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we have Redinger already taking the front here. So that's, you know, doesn't take very long there. And got around the Zax, and we have Volpus in there as well. And like we talked about, we're already seeing the different lines forming. We have high side, middle side. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to prevail, especially with tire wear here.
Yeah, you're seeing so many different parts of this racetrack being used. Here's a great shot of that right now. As you see Panzarella going to duck to the inside of Redinger. So really with this bottom and top approach here, you're going to see Panzarella kind of shortcut the corner, but Redinger going to have a head of steam on the exit here. Going to have to turn that wheel a heck of a lot less, and you're likely to see Redinger pull a little bit away, all the way to the bottom of the track to try to break that side draft goes Panzarella. But look at that run you get off the top.
Oh, wow. Yeah, almost into Volpus there. It looked like that was a really close call there. I was just looking back a little further there. Zach Angle in the 47, he was going right against the wall there, pulling the Kyle Larson line. So we'll see if that ends up working there. And then I believe that's Ybarra right there as well, taking that high side.
One thing that is so interesting about that high line is it oftentimes is the faster way around this racetrack, especially as the run strings along, as now you see Panzarella going to try it. And like you said, there is Zach Engel higher than anybody else's. Oh, man, Zach Steffens and Kyle Lanot nearly come together. Yeah, that opens up the door for whYZee, and whYZee now creates a 3-wide situation. But I do think, Eagle, that a lot of times that top lane, especially if you go to it early, really eats up those tires more than the bottom seems to.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big track. So, you know, think about that over and over, lap after lap. You continue to take that line, how much more distance you're putting on those tires and putting stress on that. So, yeah, you might be able to pick up some momentum, but how long can you do that, especially on a longer run? That's going to be super important here. And as we're heading into turn 3 here, it looks like Panzarella is going for the lead over Redinger, trying to get that bottom line to work. But it is the battle of distance versus speed here, as Redinger has the momentum coming off the corner here, heading to the front stretch. So side by side, so far, really good start to the race so far, as we're already jumping into lap number 5.
Redinger doing a great job as well, kind of shallowing out that exit for Panzarella, not really letting him go as high as he wants to on the exit and use all the racetrack. He'll likely do it again here. As you see, look at it, comes down on the racetrack on the exit, swallowing up all that racetrack that Panzarella would love to have to really get that run formed up for him. And there it is again. Luckily, this time for him, he has Lanot helping him down the backstretch. Another thing that's so important at a racetrack this size is that draft.
Yeah, absolutely. The draft is key, and it's going to be interesting here to see as Panzarella is trying to make the decision here whether he wants to follow Vulpes or continue to stay on that low line here. And now we have Kyle Lanot trying to go for that third place. So one of these things here is the positions change. You know, this isn't Daytona or Talladega, but, you know, with the draft, you can have such a differential that you could be going for the lead one lap, and the next lap, you're barely getting fourth place here.
Yeah, it really does vary so much. It almost is like other drafting tracks, like even super speedway tracks, to where one loss of momentum can cost you a handful of positions. All these trucks still running so closely together. As you can see from that shot as Dylan Schmidt and a little run there, looks like with Richard Swingle. Man, that was a close one there as going for the same real estate on the racetrack. And look behind them, the 93 of, I believe that is Dalton Connor, getting into it a little bit with Eric Gambrell, and Jay Stinson is that. Or I'm sorry, Parham, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's exactly what to be expected here. Now, as the tires and as the drivers are settling into the beginning of this race here, they're trying to figure out what that preferred line is going to be, and if there's someone there in their way, they're going to try and do everything they can to be able to claim that real estate because it's valuable in this situation. Because track position is key, especially as we see them fairly stringing out here a little bit, but we've got some action back there, even with Steve Lewis. Looks like we got another 2 or 3 wide action going a little further back there.
Yeah, it's really all, it is all around the track right now. That's Case of Beer, Lewis, got the 40 around them too. Man, I'm still learning all these numbers. That is Chase Greer. Chase Greer making one of his appearances here. Great to see Greer. He's working his way through the field right now. He's currently actually down 5 positions while Lewis is up 5.
We got a wreck. There it is.
Oh, wow. You knew where to go, Eagle, as Greer going to come back up the racetrack. Really nothing he can do about that.
That might call the yellow right there. Are we going to get a yellow?
I believe we do.
Still.
Are we green? Oh, but we are under yellow.
I think. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Logan Boone with a massive ARCA break into that one. We saw it on screen, so we won't have to show that replay. But Logan Boone also getting involved in that big front end damage for him. And then it looked like, Greer involved in that as well. And he wasn't going to be all that bad until the end. And now that girl is crab walking.
Yeah. I mean, again, these drivers all do get one fast repair. So this is a decision here in terms of, you know, I'm thinking this is going to be a situation where that fast repair is going to have to be used because the repairs they're going to have to get done are going to be so time consuming, costing so many laps. And it's just not worth it this early in the race. I think to put yourself that many laps down and trap yourself throughout the race, I don't know. If it's crab walking like that might be the fast repair click for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, at this racetrack, they are pretty long caution laps, but damage like that, oftentimes not even fixable, right? You have to bring it, or you have to deal with some damage, and only a certain amount of it is going to even get the truck to drive at all better. So that likely going to be, like you said, that situation for Greer. Rough one there.
Yeah. Well, so we are now, looks like 10 laps in. We're about 10% through this race here. So initial thoughts so far, my first reaction here certainly is that these drivers are, you know, especially up front here, really being able to get side by side, numerous laps after another, that inside and outside line. I don't know if there's one that's preferred right now. It seems like the high line's a little bit better. Redinger was able to hold that lead off of numerous attempts from between Vulpes and Panzarella, and it looks like we might be having some pit stops here already.
Yeah, we are. Look at that.
Yeah.
A good amount of them, too. Yeah, you have Panzarella in there, and that's led by, I believe that's Redinger leading this group down. So lap 11, I believe this is going to be a situation in which you don't take the tires, but you get that extra splash of fuel.
Yeah, and we have Vulpes, we have Ybarra, Swingle, Dalton Connor, and looks like that's it. I think they're the only ones that stayed out.
Interesting.
And they are all lead laps. Oh, we might have a couple more. Danny Sanchez.
And then Lois likely going to need to stay out. Yeah, looks like
we have about 6 cars, yeah.
And then
Lois, and then Redinger's the next one out. So yeah, all right. So this is going to be interesting.
And then quick in and out for the pit leaders of Redinger and Panzarella. looking to see if I have any trucks that, you know, are significantly further down now, because what that would tell us is they did take those tires, which would be fascinating to see that early in the race. So we'll have to keep our eye on the data and see what happened there, as a lot of our drivers are going to take their first pit stop.
Yeah, and it's important to keep in mind that you brought that up about tires. You know, there's only 3 fresh sets of tires sitting in pit road here. So, you know, just as I said, we're only 10% through the race. So I do not think it would be wise to do that right here. However, strategy sometimes prevails. You never know. So that, yeah, I think at 10 laps in, you just have to just focus on the fuel, and, you know, with the stage reward coming up, and that's going to be another factor that we have to think about here in terms of maybe some of these guys are thinking about that in the long run.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's going to be fascinating to follow, especially where the cautions fall. Pretty good run to start this race, especially for the beginning of this season for this series. Really good racing we saw as well, reminiscent of season 1 over here in DDIRL and what we're used to seeing in MRL, all starting to come together here. But here we go, as we're going to have the same set of characters up front for the most part, but a few new ones now. Richard Swingle going to have a lot of track position by way of staying out, as is Dalton Connor. Brandon Lolis, it's almost like that spin out never even happened. He's all the way in the top 5 now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about the stage reward coming up. That's going to be lap 37 tonight. So that's it's an odd number, but it is 37. So keeping that in mind,
put that
looking
on our scoreboard. There we go.
Everything to see where we would have here to see if that makes a decision. You know, without having a caution, it's really interesting so far in these first few races to see how guys adjust their strategy. Because, you know, in NASCAR, you see them throw the caution, you plan around the caution, and you take that for granted. And you don't have that here. This race could finish going green if we wanted to, for example. But we know that there could be cautions, but there won't be one because of the stage.
Yeah, it's a really, really good point. I think it's definitely switches up the way these drivers are forced to approach this race. The stage, I think, did simplify it for a lot of these guys, and it kept a lot of people on the same wavelength, especially up to that halfway point, or that 40% waypoint that the stage was usually placed at. It really didn't allow for too much varying strategy until that point. Here, right at lap 11, we're already seeing a mixed bag. Drivers like Dylan Schmidt look to actually have some tires put on, so we'll have to keep our eye on that driver as well as we get ready to go green.
Okay, here we go. We're heading green. We have the 6 drivers here who have not gone in at all yet, and then starting back with Redinger. And here we go, green flag again. No. Volpus. Oh, there's a start. Ybarra got into Volpus there a little bit. I don't know if he got down a little bit into it, but it looks like they saved it. Definitely choked up that upper line, so we might want to keep an eye on the back there in case there's any sort of chain reaction here as we're heading into turn 1.
Yeah, so far so good.
Scary.
Oh my gosh, we are 5 wide?
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. When you have that kind of backup from the front there like that, you know it was going to ricochet all the way to the back, and it looks like, yeah, we might want to keep an eye on this. God. Wow.
Oh my goodness, they are 3x3x3 over here. And if Schmidt
are we watching the Daytona 500? Oh my gosh.
God. I don't know if there's enough room at Daytona for this. So many different lines being used, just enough space being given. Great job by these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think that that high line there, a lot of drivers had to react and had to have good reaction time and making sure they could get around that. So good job on all of that. Looks like they've got through it here, so it's time to kind of settle down. Although I don't think they are. Looking up front there.
Yeah, up front, they saw what was going on back, and they got jealous. They want some of that. We're 3 wide here between Sanchez, Swingle, and Lolis. A little backpack sandwich for Swingle, as Lolis going to try to really use that Larson line. Not able to get it quite as high as he wants to. Zach Steffen says, don't mind if I do. He's going to try to rip that top. Keep your eye on that 9 to see the run that he gets on the exit of this corner. Swingle going to try to close off that. Oh, man, these guys are playing a game of inches right now.
Yeah, and look at Redinger here. You know, he was leading right up until that caution, went in to get fuel, and now he's literally in the middle of the hornet's nest, quite literally. And, you know, that's got to be nerve-wracking, especially after literally where he was just a few minutes ago.
It is
insane.
There we go,
we're 3 wide.
And it's pretty much both these packs are 3 wide. You look behind them, and it's the same exact story. Here we are still. These guys still have not been able to figure it out. This is absolute craziness right here. As you see, wherever Steve Lewis is, there's a 3 wide situation brewing, it seems. As Chris Calgill there.
Actually,
yeah.
Right there.
Chris Calgill going to help make it 4 wide through 3 and 4. Again, these boys just putting on a show and really giving each other enough space to make it work. It is available to you here at Auto Club. Yeah,
that's so true. And so far, they've been able to keep it together. And, you know, if tempers start flaring, or if we start getting closer to the end of the race, that could turn into even more mayhem. But so far, they're keeping it together, and they're keeping it side by side. So that's good. And meanwhile, while we've been talking about this, Vulpes has just been pulling away here and getting himself a little bit of breathing room now, especially now that Reniger's further back there, and you have Ybarra trying to keep up with him.
Yeah, Vulpes loving what he's seeing in his rearview mirror as Ybarra actually starting to show his muscle. Dalton Connor doing a fantastic job as well. He's up to the 3rd place. He was one of those drivers who stayed out, and he's kept it up front. Really, everyone, Eagle, that stayed out has done a fantastic job of keeping it where it was. Swingle was one of those. He's still in 6th place. And then, like you said, someone like Redinger very much in the Hornet's Nest. He has actually lost positions. He's down to 12th, and Panzarella has not moved forward yet.
Yeah, that's dirt. It's that dirty air, and so it's starting to see right here. I'm going to put this on my notepad to say that on a short run, track position is king, because track position is holding out here for sure. 10-lap run, anything besides that, I wouldn't go in. But maybe there's some fuel strategies that these other guys are thinking about that we haven't thought of up to this point. We shall see.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to follow. Zach Steffens gets into the wall there, sends the other Zach all the way down the track to make sure that there's no contact. Steffens probably not too significant of contact to make any damage there. And something tells me that Schmidt did take tires, because he has been on a mission since we've gone green. He is up to 16th place. I believe that's about 10 spots up from where he started. And we'll have to see as this run continues if that becomes more or less of an advantage if we hit that plateau point.
Yeah, and the short-term gain is, is it a long-term benefit or not? That using one set, you only have 2 now. So if you take the rest of the race and split it in half, that means you're going to have to, on these other 2 tires, go a good solid 40 laps or so on them. So, it's great to see the positioning, great to see that the tires are working, but at the same time, not burning them up, because you got to make them last to the end of the race.
And we got a new leader. Dalton Connor takes it from both Ybarra and Vulpes into the lead. But Ybarra shoves Connor into that corner, really shoves him. Gets Connor all types of out of shape. That was just bullying, but I don't mean that in a bad way at all. Great move by Ybarra.
Yeah, rubbing his racing for sure, and that's going to give Ybarra the lead, it looks like. And Connor is out to dry here as there's a draft train on the outside led by Ybarra and Vulpes, and then Zach Steffens is getting back up there again. So it looks like things are starting to level back out here. We even have Justin Parham and Zach Engel, it looks like a little further back, starting to really push their way through the field as well. Oh, someone's in the wall there.
That was Zach Engel and Jay Stinson with a little bit of contact there. Able to figure it out. Good on them. And then Stinson, Engel gets into the 98 of Parham. I'm sorry, I mixed up Parham and Stinson again. It was Parham and Engel who initially got together, and then Engel said, well, whYZee mixed them up anyway, so I'm going to hit the other one, and then hit Stinson. Yeah,
and it looks like the loser on that end is Zach Panzarella. It looked like he might have gotten out of the way or anything. I saw him in turn 1 down on the shoulder, and he is now way, way back in the field there. He is definitely mid-pack at this point.
Actually, I think there was a little incident between Panzarella and Connor there, getting into each other, going in the entry of 1, which obviously may have been a part of that checkup that we saw. Panzarella, I saw in the corner of my eye, I think was below the apron, like you said, and yeah, he lost a handful of positions. That moved him all the way down to 12th behind Eric Gambrill in the 46.
Yeah, and as we said, track position is important, so he's going to have to just start hacking at them and working his way all the way back up again. And it looks like the front pack at least has settled down a little bit. Still a little bit dicey in the back there, but it looks like a little less 3 wide now, more 2 wide back there. But these front 4 or 5, other than the corners, when they get on the straightaways, they seem to be just being a draft train right now and just trying to log laps at this point. Ybarra in front of Vulpes currently.
Everything's starting to calm down here. Here's a little bit of 3 wide action, but that's Dylan Schmidt, and I think we can stop speculating, Eagle. This man has fresh tires. He is up to, this will be for 5th place, or this will be for 6th place here on Stinson in the Mountain Dew. And man, Schmidt with a head of steam, working through the field quickly with those fresh tires. So that also teaching these drivers a little bit of a lesson here. Trap position, very much king. Fresh tires, potentially just as important.
Yeah, and if this stays green with the stage award coming up on lap 37, we're about 15 or 16 laps to go from that. So this could be a really good points benefit here for Schmidt. So maybe this was the right strategy, and it's certainly something to think about.
Yeah, it certainly is. As we look back in the field here, that's Matt Novella, last week's winner, and man, that's racing for you, is it not, Eagle? This is happening one weekend. Oh, there we go.
And Novella, last week's winner, we got a couple involved there.
Yeah, Bradley King looks to be involved, as does Mark Zabik. And yeah, Novella with significant damage there. Bradley King as well in the 28.
Yeah, it actually looks like here, if we can actually go take a look at the replay here in a moment, it actually don't look like it was Novella here. It may have actually been the 03 of Chris Cowgill. So let's take a look here. I'm going to go ahead and play this here and show you. Hit the wall. Cowgill reacted there to, I don't know what truck that was, and there's where it comes. Zabak, I think, was in there.
Zab gets in there.
Interesting. Yeah, so looks like there was a little bit more contact, maybe a reaction of sorts from the 03 when he saw Novella get into the wall there.
That does seem like to be an accurate analysis of that, and oftentimes that really is what you see happen here. Just a lot of, I guess you'd say, chain reactions here at Auto Club that really can create some messy situations. So back under caution here at Auto Club.
All right, as we head down the backstretch here, it's going to be interesting to see some of these front guys. Are they going to take fuel? You know, we have the 6 that stayed out here. So we have a couple laps here to see if they need to make a decision here on what they're going to do.
I think it's got to be time to get those tires on. I think a lot of these drivers may be relieved when this caution is coming out. I think kind of one of those natural-ish ones, right? I believe these drivers were telling me they had about a 30-ish, maybe 34 lap window on those on the fuel tank. So definitely a little bit early, but the first run is normally when you take those chances, right? Where you find out how much you can get away with those tires. So I would not be surprised that a handful of these drivers are eager to get these 4 sets of tires, or these 4 rubbers off that truck. And no surprise here, a lot of these drivers are going to bring it down.
Yeah, and they saw what Dylan Schmidt did. Yeah, and he's going to stay out. But they saw what he did, so I wonder if a lot of them are going to copy here and get the tires, and we'll see where it's going to come from here. But it looks like just about everybody's down pit road here.
I think Logan Boone going to stay out as well. Interesting there from Boone. I think that was an accident as we're hearing him key up. I think Boone will be coming down next time around. But here comes just about all our drivers, and now I guess the only thing to speculate about is, does anyone have the guts to take anything besides 4 tires? I'd be surprised.
Yeah, they're sitting in there pretty long. I think it's tire time at this point. Lap 24, you know, again, doing the math here with being able to do 3 changes, this would be about the right time to be able to do it and still be able to have the remaining tires be able to have a good enough window to be able to stay fresh. So, yeah, pretty close to everybody doing the same strategy for the most part here. Volpa's coming out first, it looks like.
Yep, I'm just seeing 14 and 15 seconds up and down my data here, Eagle. So looks like everyone eager to get those tires off and start afresh. About, I could say, what, a 4th through this race? You're better at math than me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, just past the 4th. So that's, again, kind of a okay spot here for the tires. I think that's going to be interesting. Now the question will be, we watch Dylan Schmidt be able to tear through the field. What's it going to look like here on the restart here? He's got that track position now, but what is going to happen here when we go green and all of these other cars with fresh tires? How is he going to be able to hold up to it? Will the draft help? Time will tell.
This is going to be a really fun one for Schmidt. He's going to get those bonus points for leading a lap. That is one thing you get here in DDIRL Moonlight, is you do get bonus points for leading a lap, so Schmidt will be happy for that. But like we just said, we saw him tear through the field with those fresh tires. But Eagle, those tires were 9 laps newer than his opponents. These tires now are going to be at a 14-lap disadvantage.
Yeah, there's going to be a massive difference here. And it looks like Logan Boone is staying out here, so we are going to have the front row drivers are going to be staying out here. So that's going to be interesting. So not just the low line here, but the high line on old tires. Followed up by, and then we have Volpus and Brandon Lawless up here as well. So that track position really paid off for him because he's still up there in 4th now with the fresh tires.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really interesting one. And a lot of these drivers have already been through an adventure today, like you were indicating, whether it be through an incident or just different pit strategy. They have seen what the back of the field looks like and what the front does. Schmidt included. He started pretty far back in the field. Then he took those tires and he got to see what it was like to feel like a superhero and drive through the field. He had worked his way all the way up to around 5th place, and now he's going to be in the lead. Hope to lead 1 green flag lap here at least, right? But he's going to have a pack of wild hornets breathing down his neck as you see Volpus right there behind him.
Yeah, it's we're going to see what this is going to look like. We have Zach Steffens back up here again, and man, I think we're going to have some crowding up front again, and we need to pay attention because that last restart, if you remember, there was that issue with the bar on the outside, and it brought the rest of the field, the whole back half was 4 wide going into the turn. So if these cars are slower than we're expecting, we're going to probably see some of that issue in the back again.
Yeah, I definitely would anticipate that. Pace car off the track,
right.
And here we go.
Here we go. Let's see how this goes here. Looks like the cars are kind of pushing down there to the inside here as we're going green, but there we go. We got a little bit of check there on the inside this time.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely the inside lane with a harder time getting going. The separation you're already seeing, but with that separation also causes stack-ups in 3 wide situations earlier than they should. You see Pfeiffer already 3 wide about midway through the field. He's going to make a big move down the middle there, and 4 wide situations there involving Richard Swingle and Parham got it right that time. Panzarella as well all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, and again, they can't change lanes before the start-finish line, so that also can lead to some of the crowding that we were seeing as well. So something to definitely keep in mind as well. But it looks like Schmidt is holding on for at least right now. I don't know if it's going to be for long, but he got through with his first lap, and it was held on to the lead. So 14 laps older tires, but we're still moving here.
And now we're about to find out what fresh tires mean. As I think we're about to see Vulpes just absolutely ship it down to the bottom here. Let's see what happens, as you're going to have to be kind of married to that bottom line if you're Dylan Schmidt or Logan Boone right here, as both of them.
Yeah, he's holding right on that shoulder there, and he's going to probably get him right here on the backstretch. And that's not, you can tell that's a tire difference. Normally that high line gets that momentum down the backstretch, and Vulpes definitely, we're going to have 3 wide here? I don't know.
Yeah,
I was trying to get a sense if he was going to take it there 3 wide.
Boone thought about it there. He certainly did. And now, well, I guess then he ends up in a 4 wide situation for his trouble, as Brandon Lullis making big moves on the outside there, followed by Dalton Connor as well, making really, really big moves. Dalton Connor and Logan Boone, 2 really quick rookies over here in the DDIRL, making an impression early. And to the lead goes Vulpes.
Yeah, Dylan Schmidt doesn't want to give up yet, but it's starting to seem like the tire wear here is going to prevail. He's trying, he's fighting. He has a fast truck, I'll tell you that, even on the old tires, able to hold up like this. Meanwhile, we got the 3 wide there with Lynott all the way down at the bottom, trying to get around. Who was that? I missed the KFC. That is
Logan Boone, I believe.
Logan Boone. That's Logan Boone. That's right. Yes.
And yeah, the Logan Boone with those older tires as well, starting to fade away a little bit. Lynott appears to be experiencing some connection issues. Hope that resolves itself. That's never a fun thing to have to deal with in the back of your mind while going 200 miles per hour in a 2-mile racetrack. As you see behind there, Eric Gambrill has really been on fire lately. He won the DDIRL ARCA race on Monday. He's been visiting Victory Lane more often than not at this very, very young and still, quite frankly, inexperienced driver, showing incredible amounts of speed early.
Yeah, and the experience with these larger fields and the diversity of this field here is going to be great experience for him there. And being able to deal with the hornet's nest that we're seeing here mid-pack that he is leading in front of, I suppose, because just behind him, man, someone just got in the wall. I think that Steffens got in the wall. Wow.
It was. Steffens gets tight out of 4, grazes the wall, doesn't look to have any noticeable damage, but that just goes to show how much we already talked about dirty air mattering, and also just how sketchy and tight it is out here. Look at this group here.
Yeah, and our last caution was something very similar where Novella hit the wall and everybody reacted. So it looked like everyone around was able to react appropriately in that case, and we were able to get through it. And wow, he almost went around there. It looked like very, very loose coming out turn 2. I don't think anyone touched him either. I think that was just those old tires, and he's really trying to push it and give it that 100%, but those tires aren't 100%. So that's going to be the issue.
It is, and it's so hard not to do that.
Oh, and he gets a little high.
Yeah,
4 wide. 4 wide. Oh, my God.
Right? This is insanity, as luckily these straights are long enough to where it seems to resolve itself a lot of the time and they don't have to enter the corner 4 wide, but it still doesn't make it any less sketchy as these drivers really trying to use. I think what's also creating this multi-lane racing here, Eagle, is just the impact of dirty air and how important clean air is. It doesn't even matter if you prefer the bottom or top line. I'm going where the clean air is.
Well, and we're watching now the tires really starting to fade on these guys from the front row here, and they just continue to log spots. And what's actually happening is it's creating those drivers having to make those lane choices. And you have 2-3 guys who are going 3 wide. That's where your 4 wide's happening. So it almost happened again up a little bit further there towards where Fritz is.
Oh, we got a wreck.
Oh.
It looks like Danny Sanchez into Jeff Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer involved in this one. And then it looks like Jake Johnson gets tagged as well. Oh, Johnson hard in the wall. Caution is out with 6 to go in the stage, which I think is the magic number to have a shootout, especially at a track this size.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like to me here.
And it looks like, yeah, there's the confirmation from league admins. This will not be the stage. Last week in Vegas, we had a similar situation, and it did wind up being the stage. Not here today. These guys will likely have a 2-3 lap shootout. We'll have to see once they get this cleaned up.
All right, we're going to take a look at the replay here and see what happened here with Jeff Pfeiffer as we're coming out of turn 4 here. It's looking like, put it here in frame here.
And here we go. Another chain reaction.
Goes up.
Oh.
And right there, he got into the 62. Yeah, he didn't have that lane clear.
And then you see Johnson
and it looked
enter
like
the scene.
I was. Oh, and then this was the 78, I believe.
Yeah.
That was Jordan Finnegan got into that one as well.
Brutal.
Now, I did
Finnegan.
hear over race comms, Jeff Pfeiffer immediately apologized. It looked like it was a spotter error. He thought he was clear. He wasn't clear, and that ended up being what caused the caution here.
And what's also so not frustrating, but so difficult about what these drivers are dealing with, especially where Pfeiffer just was in the field, is that kind of feeling of you're hearing constantly 2 wide, 3 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide, and then you're 3 wide, and they tell you clear, but you're not clear. You're clear of the 3 wide, but you're still 2 wide. Oftentimes that gives you that comfort to jerk it up, go all the way up the track like you saw Pfeiffer there, not knowing maybe that another truck was there.
Right, yeah, and that's where you got to be careful with, especially with this much going on and this much noise going on. It's really, you got to be very careful and make sure you check in your mirrors as well. But, you know, it's a racing incident. I don't know. It really was a close call there in that situation. He thought he had the momentum coming off the corner, and he didn't. And that's, you know, again, as I was hearing over the race comms, immediately apologizing for that. And that, you know, happens sometimes in racing.
Yeah, it really does. And that really was kind of one of those racing accidents as it appeared to be. And seeing about half the field, definitely the latter half of the field, appearing to pit right now. My guess is we're going to see a little bit of more fuel here. I doubt we'll see tires unless maybe you're Dylan Schmidt, who was one of the ones who brought it down just now.
Yeah, I think that would be the case here, too. It was too short of a run. I mean, we barely went 10 laps, right? Yeah, barely. So I think this is definitely going to be one of those situations where you should just be taking... Yeah, they're taking fuel. They're coming out pretty quick.
Yeah, only Schmidt appears to be taking tires, and also some damage repair being done. Matt Novella still looking like he wants to get that fixed the hard way and get that, or keep that fast repair in his back pocket. He did have less damage than his competitors in that first incident, and it does appear that maybe Chris Calgill may have taken... Actually, no, Calgill was in that incident. That was likely damage repair for him as well.
Yeah, and Schmidt put on that next set of tires, which means now he's going to have to go at least 30-some laps if he splits the rest of the race up, 30-some laps on those 2 sets only. So that's going to be very, very interesting here.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be it's probably going to feel like a long race for Dylan Schmidt now, and he's going to need cautions that likely fall in very specific parts of this race for him to hold on to that last set of tires and not be a sitting duck at the end. But hey, it got him that bonus point to lead a lap, some experience up front. He did a wonderful job. And I think what it also likely confirmed for him, Eagle, is he's got a hot rod underneath him. If he can get that thing in a balanced out situation with the right track position in a even tire situation, I think he's got himself a top 5 car right there.
I think you're right 100% about that. And what we're looking at right now is we are about to have ourselves a little bit of a shootout here.
Yeah, we
because,
are.
as we stated, the stage award comes out at the end of lap 37. And that means I think it's going to just be a 2-lap shootout.
2-lap shootout.
I think it's
Essentially
just a
NASCAR
2-lap
overtime.
shootout here. Okay, so we shall see. This is going to be a little taste to see what this is going to look like towards the end of the race. If we were to have a late race restart, you know, granted, this is not for a race win, but there are some valuable points on the line. And with the fact that this season we are using a chase format for the DDI Moonlight Truck Series, every point matters. And that's something that I'm even seeing in the NASCAR series now with them moving to a chase format as well. The drivers are going to race a little bit differently because they're going to be chasing points, especially early on in the season.
Yeah, I think you saw a less chaotic Daytona finish. I mean, we've still got the normal chaos, but they waited until they could start or go across the start-finish line to finish the race, at least upside down, and not so much on the backstretch like they used to. And yeah, a lot of those drivers, more points racing than we've seen in the past, which I'm all here for. I love that. Big reason why we went with that points format here in this league, and a big reason why NASCAR copied us.
Yeah. I would say the announcement came from the DDI Moonlight Truck Series.
did.
They were a chase format before there was a chase format announced by NASCAR. So I think it was always the writing was on the wall for a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the chase format's going to look like here and give us a little preview. And as the pace car is going off here, we are going to head 2 to go before the stage award and still got many, many laps to go in the race. So here we are, green flag. Looks like we got Vulpes going to pull out there into the lead. He took the high line, I believe.
Yeah, he did. He did. He chose the high line. And I guess you see why. And maybe it was that help he'd have with his teammate, Kyle Lynott.
Yeah, he gave him a really, really good push going there through the corner there. And so Lynott's now in second, and Ybarra is now sitting there on that high side, trying to get his second place at least back that he had initially from the start.
And it's going to be a spicy end of the stage as contact between whYZee and Lynott down the backstretch here. These two side drafting each other with everything they're worth. Oftentimes you see this type of racing at the end of a stage. It is 2 to go in the only stage in this race. Pay window is open, top 10 about to score some points.
And what about 3 wide again? That's right. We're going to have 3 wide right there. Justin Parnham. Oh, and it looked like there was not going to be enough room there, but they made it work. All right, so here we go. This is the last lap of the stage awards as we head into turn 1. Lynott gave Vulpes a push. Now I think he's going to try to see if he can get that stage win himself.
Yeah, Lynott has done his due diligence that he has to help his teammate. It is time to get selfish and to go for the win yourself. The 3 behind them have been 3 wide for about a lap now. They finally seem to figure it out. Panzerell right behind Parham there as the top lane likely to have a big run there. Dalton Geyer, we haven't talked enough about today, has done a great job. He's been in the top 10 all day. He's in there.
Let's take a look at Ybarra up front here. He's trying to take that stage win right there from Vulpes. Oh, he's right on the quarter panel. He's trying. It's good. They're side by side.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think he has it. Yeah, Vulpes got it. Wow. What, if that was the last lap of the race, would that have been a little bit different? I don't know. Good
point right there. That was so close right there to being a sketchy incident. And yeah, I think you would have had to be that much more selfish if you were right. Bar there is, my goodness, they almost come together in the exit at 2. Yeah, they're definitely having a little bit of contact here. Meanwhile, the 93 here, Dalton Connor, is going to take advantage of all that and try to see if he can get the lead from all of them and get away from all of this chaos. Dalton Connor looking to be that guy that is kind of just going out the back door while there's a fight in front of him and not able to take advantage of the 2 brawling, but now he has Lynott helping him out, pushing him hard down the front stretch. And then look at Parham, desperate to find an opportunity here to get around Lolis, but Lolis, he is the help for whYZee, which whYZee definitely very much could use right now. He's been getting double teamed by Vulpes and Lynott. Big slide job. Oh my goodness! Yeah, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to clear it. He thought he had it, but it wasn't going to be enough space there. Seems like the inside line is really starting to weaken here. I saw Lynott lost spots, and now Connor's losing spots to it. So definitely seems like the high line is beginning to prevail here, especially as the track's rubbering up. And then you saw Lolis just barely get into Parham there, closing the door for the block. Look at Lynott slide slightly up, nearly into Parham. Parham just trying to find any clear racetrack right now that he can use. Here comes Dalton Connor next to Lolis. We've seen this be a sketchy part of the racetrack all day. Yeah, and there's more contact going on back here. They are just all over the place. I'm seeing more 3 wide. Parham glazing that wall. Ran out of track there coming on that. Wow. Man, these guys are putting it all on the line right now. You think 4 wide? Is that 5 wide? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. There's 5 wide right there. Oh, and Connor down into Lynott. Connor gonna try to. Oh no, is he gonna save it? He's gonna save it. Wow, I didn't know about that. He was fully sideways there. I thought that was gonna be a full spin. He kept it together. He actually did not lose as many spots as I thought for something like that. Wow. And he's saved by the bell because it appears we're under caution. That little turnaround by Connor was enough to bring out the caution. Man, hot on the button. Yeah, it's because it was on the track. That is exactly what it was. It was a reactionary call for the caution just because that 93, that spin occurred on track, not necessarily down on the apron. So I guess it's a better safe than sorry situation. And I'm thinking there's a chance that Connor may actually be able to get a few of those spots back depending on when the caution was thrown. Right now, hanging out behind Steve Lewis, looks like he's only down to 13th. Like you indicated, really could have been worse there. Yeah, Lynott is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars ahead of him. So, yeah, really, at most, he lost 6 positions from that whole encounter. Yeah, that is a bullet dodge right there. Connor has really struggled on his entry today, going into 1 and 2. We saw him get together with Panzerella earlier, and that was on the top of the track. This time, making an early arc, but Lynott was already there. He was not clear. gets into Lynott, but both drivers able to keep it clean. Good job by both of them, not making that into a bigger incident, and really great job by Connor keeping it straight.
Yeah, it's definitely important there, and I do wonder about the damage. You know, seemed like it was fairly light contact there, but definitely still could be some aero damage, especially on the 988. So we'll have to see here. Let's see if we got some pit stops happening here. I think we got the leaders coming down.
Looks like we do. Quite a few of the leaders are going to be bringing it down here. Volpus leading them, Wybara following, Brandon Lolis, Dalton Geyer, who had worked his way up to 4th place. Great driving by Dalton. Brendan Shelton, also another very quiet driver today that we've not been talking enough about. The Sim and Destroy Racing driver was currently sitting here in 5th place, but it looks like the vast majority, if not all, the lead lap cars bring it down here.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. We've been watching this race here so far. You know, you don't know what the runs are going to look like in terms of green flag runs and then tire wear. So, you know, it's not really a bad idea to just top off that fuel because you don't know what things are going to look like here. We're down to, it looks like 55 to go in the race. So we're approaching halfway. So it's going to definitely be, I think the strategy here is going to start changing and people are going to start looking and working backwards from the end of the race, making a decision about how they want to finish this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think also a lot of these drivers did have that stage, whether or not there is a caution. A lot of times you are mentally working off that number, thinking I got to get to there. And then from that point on, it's a new race and I can have a different strategy. We saw that caution fall to where we knew if you were one of those front trucks, you had no choice. You had to stay out. Your bed was made if you wanted those stage points, and pretty much all of them did. And I think they were probably pretty happy to see that caution. Hadn't really signed up to stay out that long.
Yeah, I think that's the case for sure. And it looks like it was that Eric Gambrill. We actually have a couple that stayed out. I didn't know if he was wave around or not, but I don't think so. So we have Gambrill, we talked about earlier. Last week winner Novella's up there.
Oh, and Schmidt, I'm surprised. So down to Schmidt.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because, again, he's been off sequence the whole race with tires, so now he gets his turn to be back up front again. And it looks like lights are going to be off the pace car. Yes, they are. Yes, so we're going to line up. 5 cars did not pit.
Yeah, it appears that way. As it looks like a few also fixing damage. You see Case of Beer on the bottom of your screen there, getting a little bit more damage fixed. We're going to be going green here on lap 47. These drivers starting to knock off these laps relatively. Wait, actually, I think I'm wrong about that. Actually, I think we're going green on 43. I have my laps all wrong.
Yeah, 43.
Yep.
50, yeah, I think we're like 50-some to go. Yes, 50-some to go. So we have 5 cars that stayed out. So we have Schmidt, which we already mentioned. Another name we haven't talked about is Swingle, Richard Swingle, the 97. Right. 10 is Cody Matthews. So again, names we've not talked much about today. Again, we've mentioned about Gambrill a little bit earlier in the race, and as well as Novella, who is our defending race winner from last week.
Yeah, Novella, probably where he'd like to be. He is so good this racetrack. He's won an MRL championship at this racetrack over in the Truck Series back on Thursday nights a few years ago. So Novella, very, very familiar with this place, especially in this race car. So look for him to try to keep that 56 up front. All these drivers going to be at, oh boy, Eagle, at least a 10-lap disadvantage. Cody Matthews is going to be at a 20-lap disadvantage.
Yeah, that's going to be important to pay attention here on this restart, especially to see what's going to happen as we head into this first lap or so. Meanwhile, we have Matt Novella leading them off here, and
Gambrill, actually, he took the outside.
Up there high in the points. Yeah. Oh, he was the leader. Yeah, the control car was the 46. So here we go.
Again. Interesting.
Into the restart zone, and we are going green again here at Auto Club. And there's another outside push there. It looks like it's coming from Swingle.
Yeah, that could be why. Just a matter of wanting to be with your teammate or someone that you're in a Discord with that you can line up with. Great arrangement there from Swingle and Gambrill, but Novella having none of it.
3 wide for the lead here.
Oh, and we are back under caution near immediately.
Oh. Let's see what that was about.
Tommy Fox looks to be involved in that one. Yeah, there he is. See if we can get a replay. What happened there?
Let's go take a look at that.
You got it.
Oh yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happened here. Looks like it was right on the restart. So as there we go. All right, let's see as we're going. Looks like there was a checkup, and oh yeah, it was a checkup for sure. And then Lynott. Oh yeah, that's went away there. It was just hit the wall there. That's going to be some aero damage there to him as well. That's such a shame.
That's a brutal one.
I think. I think it was just a victim of that checkup. We talked about that a lot with these bigger fields, and today it's been an issue that we've seen happen a lot. So
really, this whole
being
league,
in the
this whole
back
season.
there. Yeah, and I don't think there was anything the 57 could have done. He got sandwiched. There was not enough real estate for him, and he was just a victim in wrong place, wrong time.
The brutal thing about those checkups and the size of this field is it does seem like the bigger the field, it just gets worse as it goes down that chain there, right? The checkup doesn't get better or resolve itself, and you saw Fox a little bit further down the field than he's likely used to. As Gambrel, last second, going to dive it down in the pits. So Gambrel going to give up the lead and give it to Richard Swingle. But yeah, that just got worse as it was, and like you said, I don't think you can put any fault in the 57. He was just the victim of a terrible situation there.
Yeah, and the speed differential, I think, is part of also to blame here. You have to remember that there are guys on all sorts of different strategies. So you're going to have old tires, people spinning tires, new tires that they're not warmed up yet. And it's just that it's a compound reaction. It's just like when you're driving on the interstate and you hit rush hour traffic and there's no accident. And you're like, what was the accident for? It's just a bunch of people brake checking. And when you add that all up together, creates a traffic jam. And we're just seeing that there at a much smaller scale, of course. But with 36 cars, you can have that happen very often.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And there is T-Fox right there. Hard to tell if he used that fast repair or not, because that truck does look very healthy. But maybe granted, that was a pretty slow incident, right? We weren't up to speed yet, so maybe the truck not too bad yet, as he is going to bring it down one more time. We'll probably find out here if this is for more damage repair or if he is just going to get another splash of fuel. Oh, tires.
Yeah, he's taking tires. Okay. And another thing to note here, especially with these trucks as of late, is that the aero damage is a lot more sensitive than it used to be, especially with the front nose. So the fact that he did hit that outside wall with the front of his nose is going to create some aero damage. I do wonder if that is bad enough that he would have to consider using it. But if he's sitting there on pit road, maybe he is going to try to fix it. And that I can't blame him for that. If the car is driving straight and the steering's looking good, try to see if you can fix it yourself, because as you mentioned earlier in the race, these pace laps are fairly long. So try to see what he can get done.
Yeah, and on top of that, if this, not too many cars a lap down yet, so if this race continues at this trajectory where it's going to apparently be another caution fest, then why not go one lap down to really get all that damage fixed, not have to drive all the way around, and just wait for that lucky dog that seems inevitable at this point.
Yeah, and it looks like on average here, I've been not keeping fully track of this, but it seems like we're getting cautions on average anywhere between 7 to 12 laps.
Yeah, I'd agree with
So
that.
when you're looking at the race, we're sitting about halfway here, so you could realistically expect another 4 to 5 cautions, so that's another thing maybe to think about as well.
Yeah, a lot going to be on these drivers' minds right now, but it certainly isn't over until it's over, until that fast repair is gone and the truck that you repaired is wrecked as well. So Tommy Fox going to try to stay alive here, keep that 57 rolling. Great, clean, full-time driver is T. Fox. We got a new leader here for this restart, Eagle. Richard Swingle going to lead us to green, and we have the two different color Moonlight Truck Series banners in that front row, looking beautiful.
Yeah, it's looking great, and it's looking like we're going to have another interesting restart here, and let's hope that they can get it off smoothly and kind of keep the cars tight and close together, because I think that's another issue to sitting there in the back. Definitely going to be paying attention back there to make sure that they can get off smoothly this time around. But yeah, we have Swingle on the inside and Novella on the outside this time, and now we have Matthews and Schmidt, again, did not pit on the previous caution at all, so something else to keep an eye on.
Yeah, watch that 13 of Volpus. He's going to be a hungry boy, trying to get in the inside of those guys and take all those positions quickly with those fresh tires.
All right, and here comes the pace car heading off again, and we are heading back to green as Swingle enters the restart zone. And there it is. All right, we're green again. Let's see. He got a great start. No push this time, but got a good start.
Yeah, what a brilliant start from Swingle there. Didn't even need the push. As you see, Cody Matthews also going to clear him out in Novella, so the outside lane really not getting going there. Dylan Schmidt going to try to close off the bottom the best he can as we get up to speed, but Volpus with those fresh tires just really able to hug that bottom.
Yeah, and that's the first time today I've really seen the outside struggle like that. So I'm a little surprised. I just wonder if maybe they just didn't get the start or they missed, keeping an eye out that Swingle was the control car on that one. They just missed the start.
Right, we've seen it happen for a million different reasons already in this league, as these drivers do seem a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit to be calming down. Not as many three-wide situations, but a lot of these drivers for one reason or another, have lost their track position or are trying to get it back in a hurry. You see the teammates of Geyer and Panzarella there all the way back in 15th and 16th, and another driver that was leading laps earlier right behind them of Kenneth Redinger.
Yeah, and I'm looking back a little bit further here, and the 9 truck, we have a little bit of 3 wide happening here, but you are right. It seems to be simmered down just a little bit, but going back through the field here, it looks like they've already spread themselves out pretty quickly here to start this. We're only on the 2nd lap here, although I say that, and there's 3 wide again with Ybarra right there in the middle, and oh, they got in together.
Ybarra and
they made it
Stinson.
through.
Yeah, here we go.
That's the second time I think they've gotten together today. Yeah, so they seem to be finding each other. They must have a magnet on each other's truck.
Yeah, they really must. Ybarra and Stinson really getting to know each other well. And then the teammate of Parham going to join the mix. Panzarella is here as well. We were just looking at him. And here we go. It looks like this could be another 3-wide situation. We'll see if these guys are able to figure it out. Ybarra sends it on the bottom hard into Stinson.
And he's going to go off into the apron. Looks like he's going to save it. He saves it. It's going to blend it back in. I don't think that's going to throw a caution. We are good to go. He blends up. Almost got into the 36. I think that was Geyer. Almost got into him coming back and blending onto the track.
Saw the 46 of Gambrill get in the wall there as well. So this is getting a little bit messy here.
Yeah, and I think what happened there, again, it was 3 wide, and Ybarra went up a little too high considering there was already 2 trucks there, and he just ran out of real estate. He thought he had more to give, and he didn't. So, but a good save nonetheless, and we stay green.
Yeah, but more up front, we got Chris Smith, and he's going to be 3-4 wide here. Stinson, Lewis, and Greer, as these guys are all trying to figure it out. This is some intense racing. I take back what I said about anybody calming down. We are all out here again. Zach Steffens on the outside there. Look at Chris Smith going hard down on the inside, trying to make this work. I think we're going to have another 3 or 4 wide situation. They exit this corner. Smith going to try to clear over Parham. A little bit of contact into Parham. Huge hit for Smith.
Yeah, that was it. It was Parham. There was just not enough room, and a massive hit there. That looked like that was Pfeiffer that just got back into 37. And this would what I would equate to maybe calling it the big one.
Yeah, it looks like it. The big one.
A lot of trucks involved.
When the cars start blinking out like that, you know you got a messy situation in your hand. Oh, man, I think that Arca break from Pfeiffer made a bad situation worse there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big wreck, easily the biggest of the day so far here on lap 51.
Let's bring out the Goodyear blimp here and let's take a look at this one because this was a pretty
angle.
Massive wreck.
Here we go.
Let's take a look here and see what happened here. So you can see there on the left side of the screen, 37 got into the 88.
Oh, man, and just mayhem. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh. And then Fritz got around there at the end there. We missed that little incident right there between him and the 36.
Finnegan
so
was
much
just
carnage there
after that wreck.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. Oops. But wow, that was an ugly one. As looks like our leader is going to bring down the pits, or maybe this group, I should say, of our leaders that had stayed out formally. One guy is not going to follow them though, Eagle, and I'm sure you can guess who.
Oh, look who it is. It's Dylan Schmidt once again trying to take care of those tires. I told you we did the math there. He was going to need, 30-some laps? So we're nowhere near him putting on that last set. I'm going to predict that he ain't putting that on until somewhere in the 60s or 70s at this point, minimum.
Oh, yeah, I would completely agree. He is married to that situation here. And, yeah, a funny thing that these cautions tend to do, especially when you see a lot of drivers pit. We saw Volpus bring it down, Swingle, Zach Steffens, Lolis, Novella, Greer, a lot of our front runners bring it down. That's Fritz right there. We just saw that little run-in by Ybarra and Stinson, and I think Stinson was pretty relieved that it sent Ybarra pretty far down the field. Well, guess what? They both stayed out, and now they're in 2nd and 5th.
So it's going to be interesting. As I said, they seem to be finding each other often today. So
seems always worked that way.
Hopefully, yeah, it always does. That's racing for you for sure. But let's hope they can have some nice, clean, hard racing. We'll have to see how things pan out here. But man, oh man, it has been an interesting race so far, whYZee. Lots and lots of strategy. There's been a couple wrecks here. I mean, that was a Daytona style wreck we saw right there. Definitely thinking some fast repairs had to get used on that one for sure.
Yeah, that was an ugly one, and yeah, a lot of those front hits straight into the wall with that front bumper, which normally kills an engine, which is a fast repair whether you want it to be or not. So yeah, I think a lot of these drivers are going to be either out of this one. Looks like Jeff Pfeiffer has gotten out of his race truck. He has called it a day. I believe he has used both of his fast repairs. I think we've seen them both on screen here today. But a lot of these drivers, I think, are going to be a little bit nervous now with how aggressive this race has been and not having that fast repair in their back pocket.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to change, I think, a little bit of how they're going to race. And the people who do have the fast repair, again, it's going to be interesting to see racing styles. Who's going to be more conservative? Who's going to take it more aggressive here as we start heading into the final third of this race today?
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really, I think, aggressive part of the race, as if there was a such thing based on what we've already seen, calling about 3 or 4 wide just about every corner of every green flag lap of this race. It has been one of the most chaotic races we've seen. All things considered, so far pretty impressive by these drivers to be able to keep it straight based on the type of racing that they've been displaying. But as this race gets closer and closer to that checkered flag, the aggression and that give and take starts to decrease.
Yeah, another name I'm looking up front here that we haven't really talked much about is our Daytona winner, Justin Parham, who looks like is sitting right there in third. I've been watching him kind of sneak up through the field here, and I know that some track position was gained here from the pit stops, but at the same time, I've watched him pass a lot of trucks over the last couple green runs, so he seems to be a late bloomer here in this one, and definitely someone I want to keep my eye on here as we head into this next part of the race.
And we see that with Parham very often, one of those drivers that is certainly good enough to do that and to make those adjustments as the race goes on. And oftentimes when other drivers see him figure that out at this point in the race, that starts to make you real nervous. Here we go, getting ready to go green. Schmidt's still going to be a disadvantage to all those around him. We know we got beef between the 98 and the 04. Here we go.
All right, it's going to be, they're packed up pretty close here, so let's see if they get a good restart here. We're going back green once again. It looks like Schmidt gets a good kickoff here to start.
Great start
and is going to clear. Yeah, he's going to clear. So once again, the outside line did not go. But immediately Schmidt takes the outside here.
Panzarella.
Meanwhile, we got Panzarella taking a 3 wide.
I think he may know what's about to happen above him and wants absolutely nothing to do with it. And yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
These two resuming where they left off. It's like a hockey fight.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on that, make sure that because they're right in the front here. So if any kind of silly business happens here, it could really take a lot of innocent trucks out of the race. So hopefully they can get through what they need to and move on to the next phase of their race.
There goes Wybara with the slide job on Stinson. Stinson's going to have a decision to make here, as here he goes to Wybara right by the quarter panel. Oh.
And there it is. It's a spin out there.
Ugly.
That was on that quarter panel. Man, I mean, at least looks like no other cars got involved. As he comes back up on the track.
Under caution, so these guys have it a little bit yawed up at this point. Saw that one on screen. Don't think we need to analyze that one any further. That one was pretty cut and dry there. Hard side drafting by Stinson. Whether or not it was intentional, he was not interested in leaving a millimeter of space for his opponent there.
Yeah, and they're both very hard racers, and they're very passionate, very competitive, and sometimes that competitive nature can lead to some amazing racing, and other times it can lead to some anger and some fumes, and that's what we saw here happen. Definitely looks like, again, whether it was on purpose or not, definitely some extremely hard racing, and either of them were going to give each other an inch of space, literally.
Yeah, and speaking of anger and fuming, that's exactly what's going on the radio between those two drivers. Understandably at a disagreement about what just occurred over probably the past 20 laps, if we're being fair. I would not be surprised to see some penalties at Sonoma for both Wybara and Stinson, as this was something that was talked about before this race, and both on track and on the comms. Not what this league likes to see, and it really does make it even more complicated when it's two of the most talented drivers in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And, once again, as we mentioned, we love competition. We love to see that competitive spirit and that competitive nature. And, it always comes with a cost sometimes, because the more competitive and the more fierce you are, sometimes that other side comes out of you. And that is, every racer's guilty of it. Every racer mentality, because you're so involved in this. You put so much time and effort and practice into all of this. So it's definitely understandable, but at the same time, as you mentioned, to keep, the integrity of everything up, it is, that could have taken out a lot of cars. Fortunately, it did not. He was spun off the racing surface, but I mean, they were in fourth and fifth place. So it definitely, so it could have really, tied up a lot of innocent cars who had nothing to do with that situation. But again, that is racing for you.
Yeah, and one thing that was uncovered during all that is under caution in the previous caution, so not leading up to that, but the previous caution, Wybara went and showed his displeasure towards Stinson under caution. Nothing too malicious, but passing cars under caution to get to Stinson, giving him a little bit of a boop on the butt and letting him know, hey man, didn't appreciate that. And Stinson waiting until they went green to respond. And oftentimes, yeah, those are the type of situations where you put the league kind of in a box there to where they're the ones that have to be the adults in the room per se and mediate that. But yeah, like you said, I think we've all been there. We've all had those emotions happen to us. I mean, I'll be honest, Eagle, I've had those moments where I've known it will result in a penalty. I was seeing so much red where I was like, I'll eat the penalty. It's like an NBA technical foul, right? I'll take the fine. It is what it is. And that could have been those moments there. This league, though, in a spot where it is not what it needs right now. And that's something these drivers are going to have to keep in mind as we'll see what happens as we get to Sonoma next week, staying here in California. Oh, man, I used to love that stretch of races, Eagle. I used to be able to go Phoenix, Auto Club, and then Sonoma. That was so much fun.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the West Coast swing, as they like to call it there in NASCAR. So... yeah, we have a little bit of the East Coast swing over here between Dover, Pocono, and Watkins Glen too. So there's always another. That's another set of 3 very technical, very different tracks that are all geographically very close to one another. So looking forward to some of those because we have some of those on the schedule this year coming up as well. Yeah,
have you ever raced Sonoma before?
Have I raced Sonoma? On iRacing, I have not actually.
Me either.
I have raced it on some other aspects. With Xbox, but that's years and years ago. So it is a fun track. It actually is. Everyone says Watkins Glen is the best road course, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know. I sometimes feel like Sonoma, especially, everyone talks about the carousel, but to be honest, I like the old track, the track that they ran in the 2000s.
Yeah, the long one.
With the
Me too.
The shoot and everything. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I agree. And as you look on screen right now, that is KK Woodscapes, one of the sponsors of VRN. Got wood? Check out KK Woodscapes for some amazing trophies to commemorate your win, your pole, your stage win, your lap led if you're Dylan Schmidt right now. Who knows? It doesn't matter. I won't judge you. I pay for my own trophies when I win races. Check out KK Woodscapes. They make some incredible stuff, Eagle, and they were one of the ones that hosted Drive for 5 last weekend and made an incredible trophy for that one. Not sure if you've seen that race yet, but I was, 200 yards away from winning that race.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say, that reminds me of my first win that I actually got a trophy from KK Woodscapes. I got for my truck race at Michigan, in which I made a very last lap pass. And on fresh tires. It was a thrilling race, and I still have the replay from it. That was a phenomenal race from 2024 now, almost 2 years ago.
I remember that one. Not a great day for me, but I was happy for you.
Yes, indeed. I also finally got a win at Dover, too, which, again, is my home track, which I love as well. And speaking of all this, let's go back to green here at your home track here at Auto Club.
Yeah, got all Daily Drivers Inc. up front.
All right, we're going on it again, and once again, Schmidt is getting good momentum. He's definitely figured out how to get that low line to work.
Especially
He's had
on those
plenty
old tires.
Restarts to try.
That's impressive. Yeah. No wheel spin, no nothing. Really good job by Schmidt.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just talking about again how that low line keeps getting it, and he's figured something out. He found the right spot to get the restart there. Meanwhile, we got Gambrel going here against Panzarella here for second place.
These
and
two
there we are once again, a little. Yeah, 100%. We looking a little bit further back there. We got a few more that are dicing it up here. But meanwhile, Zach Panzarella coming back up from a mishap earlier on in the race. He started up towards the front. Now he looks like he's trying to get that lead again.
Yeah, Panzarella working on his teammate of Schmidt. Both of these drivers members of DDI 44 ever. Schmidt going to give Panzarella the inside right there. Likely going to try to protect those tires the best they can. Gambrel going to try to follow him around. Panzarella going to attempt the slide job. We'll see if it's possible. And yes, it is. Probably a little bit of cooperation there between the two drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the communication of the old tires versus new tires, they can probably work together and draft a little bit now with Panzarella having that fresh air with the fresh tires, can latch on the back of his truck and see if he can hold position a little bit longer. Meanwhile, though, we got Vulpes here about to, it looked like he wanted to take it 3 wide. He was thinking about it for sure.
Yeah, Vulpes has really been up here all race, and he definitely, we know, has one of the fastest trucks here today. Also in a good tire situation. Panzarella has been the one that's been able to work through the field the fastest, but Vulpes, I believe, in that same boat as Panzarella. Yes, he is. Actually, potentially, Vulpes actually did pit. Vulpes may have fresher tires.
Yeah, that very well could be the case, and he's just kind of biding his time right now, trying to be patient here. And patience is important here. You know, we've seen a lot of accidents already today, so it's good he's practicing that patience and gonna let the tires and time sort of give him the position.
Brandon
Meanwhile,
Lewis.
where did he come from? I did not even
Seriously.
see him.
I didn't even see him on
He
screen.
must have. Does he have tires? Because he just showed up out of nowhere, quite literally. Spawned out of nature there. We got some beating and banging, too, on the outside here between Gambrel and it looks like Cody Matthews.
That was insane by Lolis, just shooting the bottom. He's going to likely try it again here. And he's on the same tire situation as people like, oh my goodness. People like
the
Volpes.
10.
Him and Cody
Wow.
Matthews, and you don't know this, Eagle, these two have a history in DDIRL similar to what you just saw with Wybara and Stinson. So these two.
Meanwhile, the
love each
10 and the
other.
13 just about got together. Woo, that looked
Oh,
like
man.
an incident from earlier there where he didn't have it cleared, but it looks like Volpes gave him the space. So,
That was a close
yeah,
one
we're seeing
there.
that differential.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are.
man, look at back here. They're getting choked up here by the 29. So there's now 3-4 wide going on back there as everyone's trying to get around Schmidt on those old tires. Meanwhile, looks like Gambrel is going for the lead here on the inside here in turn 1 to see if he can get that low line to hold and clear Panzarella. It looks like he's going to clear him, although will the momentum prevail? We're going to see here.
Corner exit
It
gonna be
looks like he's going to
interesting.
slam the door shut. Yep, door shut.
Yeah, wow. Great job by Gambrel there. Clears Panzarella out of 2. Panzarella going to shove him down into 3 and 4. Matthews, wow. Matthews decides last second he wants to take the top, and look who is going to take the bottom. The fresh tires of Volpes. Look at him just really working that white line. Great job there.
Yeah, absolutely. You got low line. Again, we talked earlier about how the high line was doing better, and now the low line seems to be a little bit stronger. So it just goes to tell, like, again, you don't know between the tires and between the number of cars. The draft really does have an effect here, and I think that's what's making the lines go back and forth here.
Ooh,
All the
Gambrel.
meanwhile, we got Matthews here going to thread the needle here between Panzarella and Gambrel, and wow.
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 And look at that. Gambrel going to come out the advantageous one there. Oh, Brennan Shelton up in the air. Oh my goodness.
We got air.
Yeah, we
That's
do.
going to be a caution for sure.
NASA space certification, Brennan Shelton. Oh man, Sim and Destroy. Okay, that's all the puns I got.
That's a good one, better than what I would have come up with. We're gonna go see if we can take a look at this one again, because I definitely want to know what happened.
That looked huge for Shelton. My goodness. That likely will be a fast repair. I mean, believe it or not, I was covering one of the BRL races yesterday, Eagle, and I saw, I think it was Nick Mills, flip, I don't know, 6 times and have no damage.
Oh my gosh!
No damage. None.
Wow, that's
Nope.
crazy. Well,
Nope.
let's take a look and see what happened here, because I definitely want to take another look.
Let's take a look
what
at
happened
this.
to
Here we
Shelton
go.
here.
Keep
All
it
right,
on
here
at
we go. So
25.
coming down the backstretch, right there in the middle of the screen, the black truck.
Oh, Bush, was that Novella?
See
Gosh.
what truck that was. I'll take another look at what that is. But that might have been Novella that gave him a little bit of a push, but it just takes that little bit, and that's all it was. And it was right in the middle of the field, so not really much you can do there.
And that truck wanted to somersault down that backstretch.
Yeah, 56 got into his left quarter panel, got him a little
Yeah.
loose, and put him right up into Jay Stinson, who once
Jeez.
again, man. Stinson's
Brutal
just been in the
hits.
middle of it all today.
He has. Stinson has really had a front row seat, if not been involved, in all the exciting and dramatic stuff we've had in this race.
Yeah, you are saying that for sure. And we are only on what, lap 66? So we got about 30 to go.
Yeah. So a lot can
More
still
action
happen.
ahead. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, let's talk about pit road here. We're starting to get some more pits.
A lot of
Some
our
people
front
staying
runners. Yeah, so we got Gambrel, Lolis, Panzarella, the leaders that we're bringing out. But like you said, Cody Matthews going to inherit the lead of this race by virtue of staying out, along with Sanchez, Volpes, Swingle, and Angle. All those
And
lap
Novella
52
looks like
ones.
he's up there as well.
So those are all trucks that fit on 52 right there.
Okay.
Interesting. And then Angle was actually 57, but that appeared to be a splash. That was a splash of fuel. So from what I can see with my data here, Eagle, is that the freshest tires could potentially be Dalton Connor all the way back there in 10th place. And they would be 5 laps fresher than all the trucks in front of him. And then behind them, like you said, we are on that was lap 66 where all those other trucks elected to come down. So they'll have a solid 15 to 11, or I'm sorry, 9 lap advantage.
Yeah, and we've got to be we're starting to broach towards the fuel window, I believe, here as well.
Close.
So that's something that we need to start thinking about as well, that those guys who just went down pit road could possibly, especially with caution, might be able to have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, I think with cautions, you're going to be good there. Without cautions, it's going to be a little bit of fuel saving, I'd imagine. But I don't disagree with that decision with any of those drivers there, because I think you'd have to assume, right? We always call it the Larry Mack trends of the race. They're definitely indicating a caution-ridden race. I think it's fair to assume as we get closer to the end, there'll be more of them.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier in the race that we were looking at cautions every 7 to 10 laps, but I feel like that's been cut in half now. It looks like we've been getting cautions every about 4 to 5 laps. So we'll have to see here as we head into this final 30-lap stretch. But the cars are racking up here. It looks like we're going to be side by side as we head into another one of these restarts here, which has really been where the challenge has been today, is getting through those first couple laps, because once they get through them, we seem to be doing okay once they get strung out there. And like I said earlier, with the whole issue of cars backing up and that traffic jam situation here, we still have pretty much every car on the track. I think we only have 3 cars out of the race right now.
Yeah,
so 33 cars on track.
Only Rayborn, Pfeiffer, and Amato actually never rolled out from the pits to start this race. Maybe had a mechanical issue, not able to get it started. So Pfeiffer and Rayborn, the only ones who started the race and who are now out of it. So like you said, not so much an attrition race yet, and these drivers are going to really want to keep that track position. And we have a whole new cast of characters up here in the front here. Zach Engel back up front. We've seen him in incidents, as well as Swingle, Sanchez back up front, and then Cody Matthews, the first ever winner in DDIRL, leading this race now.
Chase Greer, there's another name that I haven't seen up there. And Tommy Fox, we talked about his misfortune earlier in the race, but it looks like the track position has done him well here as he's hanging out, looks like in 7th place as we head to the restart.
Yeah, Fox doing a phenomenal job as well. Gonna have a mixed bag of tires here as we get ready.
All right, so it looks like Matthews is our control car here.
Yes.
So outside lane, they can't make really a decision whether the outside or the inside is going to work. But
Sanchez
let's
so
take
far
and see
back
here the outside. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if that was a matter of spinning the tires a little bit or something.
Oh, yeah,
it's
but
almost what it looks like.
Keys on the counter. He is checked out.
Yep, he's gone. That might be a bad thing because all the momentum from the draft, they're going to be able to come up and swarm him maybe in about a lap. So, we got another one spinning, I think, here coming out of 2.
Oh, do we?
I thought I saw someone.
So far looking okay. I think it may have been Finnegan. I think it was. It looks like he's got it back up, and we're going to stay green, actually.
Okay, there we go. So that's good.
And these boys going to try to do anything they can about that. Look at these psychopaths.
That is something else here. And look at that. We got, is that Chris Cowgill and Zach Anzarella? There's all the DDIs. Wow, I can't even, between Casabir, there's a lot of them right there, all just together in one cluster.
And you have Dalton Geyer, a lot of DDI logos back here, as these guys not where they want to be, currently flagged back in the 20th-ish positions here. In front of them, look at whYZee with a big move. Look at this 04 go. That's a pretty truck, too.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And he lost all that track position from those issues earlier in the race with Stinson, so he's just trying to slowly get himself back up in the front where he was earlier on in the race, and he seems to be doing that.
He's doing a great job.
Boy, it has been entertaining to watch, I'll tell you that. Look at them mixing it up back there, changing lanes.
Look at that. Yeah, Redinger trying to work that bottom there. Up in front of them, you see Steffens and Tommy Fox really mixing it up. Steffens trying to work his way through the field. Look at him just completely just rip that top, Kyle Larson style. That's our pole sitter from today. Still has a lot of speed in that 9, but just hasn't quite had the opportunity to get the track position back. But I think this field would be a little bit afraid to see that 9 regain that. Tommy Fox, we just talked about him. He's doing a great job here. He's lost a few positions as we've gone green here. Is currently out of the top 10. As look at Redinger, going to look to his inside.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while, so he's definitely starting to surge his way back up as well. It's very interesting to watch to see on these different runs who's surging on what runs here, and drivers that we haven't heard of from in 20, 30, 40 minutes, and all of a sudden they're starting to make their way back towards the front of the pack again.
Yeah, it really is fun to see how many comers and goers there have been in this race. Pretty much everyone with an opportunity to run up front, see what that feels like, and to protect those positions. And it really makes you, or forces you, I should say, to learn on the spot. whYZee.
Yeah.
Look at the inside of Matt Novella. Look at this.
Yeah, look at him riding right along that shoulder there, trying to get through there. He is surging up to the front. We're going to definitely need to keep an eye on him. Wow, did he get loose there?
Yeah, he touched Vulpes a little bit, and he really, really loses. Look at the momentum loss here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, it's a big risk and big reward.
Yeah.
So big risk here in this case situation for sure.
It really is one of those situations where you have to pick and choose your moments. I don't blame whYZee for going for that. That was for some valuable trap position. And the thing with his tire advantage right now is if you do clear as he almost gets into Gambrel there, gosh, that was close.
Yeah, absolutely. You know who took advantage of that is the 42 of Redinger. He looks like he's taking advantage of all of that checkup here, and there he is taking it 3 wide, going inside the 40, the 88, Gambrel, and he's even trying to catch up to Ibarra now.
Redinger starting to show that muscle again, and he is really working through that field quickly. You see Tommy Fox back there continuing to bleed positions. I believe those old tires really starting to hurt him. That's Matthew Fritz behind him. Matthew Fritz, such an underrated, exceptional driver. Pushing Tommy Fox down through into 1 and 2 here. That's Steffens up top there, 3 wide now with Steve Lewis, 4 wide. Let's make it with Steffens too. What a move by Zach Steffens. Uh-oh. Wow, I see Swingle get into it. Uh-oh.
Oh, someone, a little bit of smoke. Oh, there we go, and there's Tommy Fox.
Oh, more air for Chris Smith, Steve Lewis, Richard Swingle. And we're under caution at Auto Club again. I mean, it had to happen eventually, you're right? Eagle, that thing was getting ugly.
Oh, yeah, they were for sure. They were really mixing it up, and I think we're going to have to take a look at this coming out of turn 2 because I think that somebody... reacted. I think it was another reaction issue. So let's take a look at this replay and see what we can dissect from it here. Because as we're coming out of turn 2, you can already see right there on that pause frame, we are 4 wide right there with the 89 on the bottom and the 88 up top. So let's watch how this plays out.
Swingle's in this wreck, and look at him in front of them, 4 wide as well. Look at that checkup in front of him.
That's what it was.
Yep.
That's exactly what started it. It was a reaction.
And oh boy, yeah, just pinballing at that point.
Yep.
Can't really even put that on anybody. Richard Swingle, I mean, very much involved in a racing incident. He got it yawed up, but it's so easy to forget or really not be able to do anything about the fact that there's so many trucks behind you that are also 3 and 4 wide.
Yeah, and there's nowhere for them to go because they're using up the entire real estate of the track. So, you know, it's really nothing you can do but to try and avoid it. But with the speed differential there's nothing to avoid, unfortunately.
Really good point there. So that caution occurring on lap 74. So we are in the nitty gritty of this thing. These guys all with different situations here. I wonder, I mean, I feel like if you're a Cody Matthews, Sanchez, Novella, oh, never mind. Novella gonna pit, as is Vulpes, as is whYZee. All right, so there's those 3 will pit. And I think there's a case of beer. Zab is coming in, Swingle, that's unsurprising. Okay,
yeah,
so,
you know, with 20 laps to go, if you have tires, do you take tires right now with 20 laps to go? I don't know.
It's tough.
I'd be curious to see what some of these guys do.
And it's so hard when you're a Joseph Vulpes sitting in, I think it was 4th or 5th place. I mean, if you're sitting in 12th and 13th and you see a lot of trucks in front of you do it, why not? Because you know you're going to come out essentially where you came in. Vulpes, I think, was probably assuming a lot of trucks were going to follow him into those pits. I don't think he was expecting to be exiting in 20th place, it seems.
Yeah. It's been really tough to predict what these drivers are doing because, I mean, we can't even keep track up here. There are so many different pit strategies happening right now between tires and between fuel. I mean, you have to say now, anyone that's going down pit road from here on out is going to be good on fuel.
Yeah, I would assume that as well. That might be just a peace of mind situation. These drivers not wanting to have to worry about that or think about that as we get into the nitty gritty of this race. But guys like Matthews, who last pit on lap 52, with this lap this race still scheduled to go quite a few more laps. I understand why he's staying out. He seems a little bit married to that situation, but boy, would that make me nervous about that fuel.
Yeah, I think the fuel is probably number 1. Tires are probably a secondary issue, but if you saw what happened, you know, in like a Dylan Schmidt situation where he, you know, when the field starts swallowing you and you start losing that lead and you lose that clean air, you lose any advantage that you have of position, and then you can get swallowed up and end up at the wrong place at the wrong time. So it's definitely one of those risk-reward balances again, because being up front really does have a disadvantage, and we've seen that today. Those old tires do hold out for a little bit, especially for those short runs. But I mean, anything more than like 4 or 5 laps, whYZee, they're going to fall back and they're going to lose those positions.
Yeah, they really do need short runs and good restarts. As speaking of, the top lane remains the preferential lane, as Matthews will be the control truck as we start this next run, and he does elect. Leader has line choice in this league over here in DDIRL Moonlight, and Matthews electing again to choose the top, and I don't blame him. That was a killer restart last time.
Yeah, and we're looking through here. We have Danny Sanchez, who's been able to hold his track position. Redinger, he's been able to surge all the way up here to the second row, which is great. We have Zach Angle, Chase Greer, again, another name that has been slowly making his way up to the front. Pole sitter Zach Steffens is there, Eric Gambrill, Justin Parham. So it's kind of a mixture of everybody who we've seen sitting in the top 10 at some point today. People like Panzarella, who were earlier in the race and kind of middle of the race. People like Fritz, who had misfortune earlier in the race, but has made it back up here. Gambrill, who was leading earlier on. So yeah, I like this field here. I'm really curious to see how these guys are going to pan out here as we go green.
Yeah, me as well. I think it's either going to happen right away or it's going to take a minute for it to all cycle through. But these drivers don't have a ton of time to be patient anymore. It's going to be Cody Matthews leading us to green as the pace car getting ready to pull off.
All right. And there we go. And we're going to have that purple truck on the outside is Cody Matthews going to control them as we head to another green flag. They're not having trouble getting the line back there, a little further back, but yeah, Matthews is off. He's moving.
Matthews with a good restart, as always. Checked out once again. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Sanchez and Redinger entering 1 and 2. I think a fun one to follow will be those like Joseph Volpes and Matt Nova. Oh, wow. Big wreck there. That was Ybarra and Volpes. Oh, wow. Wow.
That is going to be a fast repair for both of them if they have one.
And a fast caution.
Yeah. Volpes should have another one. I don't know about Ybarra. This is not his first incident today, so.
Right. As Volpes going to barely beat the pace car to stay in the lead lap. Hopefully that truck fast enough to even get around this racetrack to stay in front of that pace car. Massive hits there for 2 of our fastest drivers.
Yeah, I kind of want to put this one in slow-mo to see what's going on here.
Oh, yeah, hit that 1/4 button.
In just a second.
That's my favorite button. Yeah,
all right, let's take a look here. All right, I got a plane here. We can take a look now.
Here we go.
See. 04 got into the back of him right there.
Yeah.
And then he overreacted. So the 04 got into the back. Going into the turn.
Brutal hits there.
And he, again, with those cold tires, I don't know if he had just taken tires or not, but that's exactly what ended up happening in that situation.
Yeah, it did. An ugly one there between
two really, really fast trucks, too.
Yeah, that was a wild one there as these guys immediately back under caution. Volpes did seem to be able to get that, fast repair done, and that will be a big relief for the 13 driver. But like you said, I think Ybarra will be reliant on just good old-fashioned hammers and saws to see what they can do about that 04.
Yeah, and it's those types of incidents, so that type of impact, definitely, you're having to tow that truck away at that situation.
Yeah, you absolutely are. As you see these drivers, lights still on the pace car, but like I always talk about, Eagle, they're eager to finish a race when they're double file when we have 2 to go.
Yes.
Before the lineup, like, let's go green, I'm ready. I get that way, and I don't even blame my competitors when they're doing it too, as this will be lights off the pace car as we cross the start finish line this time around. And that one taught us nothing, I would say. Eagle, we learned nothing.
No, not at all. And as we've been talking about here, the concentration of cautions is just getting more and more and more and more. So, I think we've now had, at least 2 or 3 where we barely make it a lap before we had something happen. So definitely need to have a cool down here, and hopefully these guys can have a cleaner restart this time around, because I would love to see how this is going to pan out up front here. And once again, it looks like Matthews is going to still be that control car, and he's taking the high side again.
Yeah, and Matthews, I guess at this point, unsurprisingly, I think what is probably the most interesting thing, and I don't even know how he did it so quickly. Look who's up on the inside there in the second row in third place, Kenneth Redinger.
Yeah, he's just snuck his way up to the front here and been able to try to take advantage of these short green flag runs to quickly pass a few cars, have that caution come out, re-rack them, and try it again. And that's basically what I've seen him do over the past few cautions.
Yep, and Redinger is good at that. I mean, guess who won the drive for 5? Eagle, that man right there, Redinger, the winner of that race. He was the one who was there standing at the end, collected the trophy. Congrats to him. Looking to do the same here at Auto Club, but he's going to have to get past the backpack driver of Sanchez and the SWM Black Wolf driver of Cody Matthews. Pace car off.
And let's do this once again in the Geico restart zone as Cody Matthews is going to lead them once again here to the green flag and gets another great restart, it looks like, moving at least 2 car lengths in front of the 40 truck.
He has just been brilliant on these restarts. He looks by himself every time we go green here, and that's really helped him prevent those disadvantageous tires that he has. So there we go. Matthews with another brilliant restart in this field, picking up where they left off.
Yeah, right away we're already back to 3 wide, 4 wide. It looks like further back even. So let's see if they can get it around, make sure they can clear each other as we're heading down the backstretch here.
Yeah, these guys trying to negotiate this area right here. You see Schmidt and Brandon Shelton and Dalton Geyer going to try to work that Larson line all the way to the top. Goes to 36. We are familiar with watching Geyer use that lane. Uh-oh!
Oh, Schmidt.
Oh,
one
boy.
off into the grass, I think.
Are we going to stay green here? As here comes Loris.
Oh, no, there's more wrecking. There's more wrecking. This is a caution.
Oh, me, oh my. Yabara's back. That was interesting.
We're going to have to break that one down for
Yep,
sure.
we are
see
back
what happened.
under caution here at the club. I'm going to start calling it that.
I like that. I like that name.
Yeah, I like that. At this point, it's just like a club, spending too much time at it. All right, let me know when you want to take a look at that replay, Eagle, and we will see what devolved there. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, we're just saying a look here. We're going to get this ready in just a few moments.
Yeah, take your time there. Under caution here, as these laps really, I mean, this is just really just taking these laps off. Going to be interesting to see how this works for drivers like Cody Matthews.
All right, let's take a look here. I think we're gonna jump onto the blimp again here and see if we can take a look from Yabara and see what ended up happening here. We saw the beginning of the wreck. I want to see a little bit later on because there was some more things that happened afterwards here. As you can see,
Whoa!
there's just a lot of, almost going to call it ARCA braking here. There was a lot of checking up, a lot of people slowing down, and other guys just decided, nah, we're just going to keep moving it through, it looks like.
Yep.
Not just the 04. There was a couple others that were doing that too as well, but that's exactly what ended up happening in that situation. Cars checked up from the initial, and then we ended up having a secondary wreck, which is what you guys just saw on the replay.
Another point of emphasis from these admins has been the quote-unquote ARCA braking, which I didn't know that was for like a year. That's an embarrassing thing about me, Eagle. But that's what that was, if you guys didn't know. It's just essentially not braking when you should. When you see a wreck in front of you, acting as if it's not there. And that oftentimes is what makes what we just saw, a bad situation, far worse.
Yeah, and that's really an important thing in these later stages of the race. I realize, again, everybody wants to be competitive and gain every position that they can, but at the expense of what? You know,
right.
That's going to be the big thing to ask yourself.
It is so true. And I mean, again, I say this every week, it feels like, once it's under caution, you can't gain positions anymore. The field is frozen. So you are quite literally only putting yourself and your fellow drivers at risk for no reason. There is no advantage to be gained by driving through a wreck. It is far smarter and advantageous for your finish and your running position to just not run through it.
Yeah, and that's 100% true. And that is something, again, with a new league and drivers who are all kind of working together, hopefully going to learn that over time and continue to improve on that. And I've seen some growth in that, and I also see some room for improvement.
Right.
And I think that's all right. That's what we're trying to look at from here. And again, it's going to be very interesting because, as you mentioned, next week we're staying in the state of California and heading to Sonoma, which is going to present a completely new set of issues, because, or not issues, but a new set of circumstances. Because while we've had a lot of cautions here today, we don't have cautions at Sonoma.
We do not.
That's going to make things very interesting.
And there's been a lot of black flag clears in this race. I think a lot of drivers, whether they're confused or just not necessarily understanding the black flag procedures here, getting them cleared here today, that may result in additional penalties. But another thing that you just brought up about Sonoma and why it's so different, that will not be the situation there as well. That is a track where 0 black flags will be cleared for these drivers. 0 cautions will come out. Once they drop that green flag, you are quite literally on your own.
Yeah. And you have to be very careful, again, if you want to arc a brake or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be sitting on pit road, and towing at Sonoma is not
lengthy.
very good. You very lengthy. You can get up and get yourself a whole cup of coffee while you're waiting.
Exactly. Hit that bathroom break as the pace car pulls off. Here we go. We're going to try this again.
All right. Once again, Cody Matthews got that outside working. Let's see if he can do it again. And surprise, surprise, it looks like he pulls right away, just as he has on the previous couple restarts.
Great job there by Matthews. You see the rest of this field here. A lot of these drivers on screen are on a little bit fresher tires than that of Matthews, but these cautions have helped out Matthews abundantly as he has gotten to just roll around this track, not at speed. But you see these guys like Matt Novella, Jonathan Case of Beer, trying to make it work around.
Case of Beer's around.
Beer. Oh, Case of Beer into the infield.
We got a couple around. There's a few on track.
Tommy Fox, Boone.
Again, I think that
Finnegan.
was another example, I think, of ARCA braking. We're going to definitely have to look at that one again.
I was going to totally bring that up as well, Eagle. It looked like that to me as well, because that looked like a single car incident. No reason for other trucks to be involved in that.
Yeah, 100%.
But the 2 DDI teammates there of Schmidt and Quesavir are getting together on the exit of 2. Everyone trying to find some real estate to race on.
So as we're looking here, again, the caution itself, we already had a chance to see. You can see on screen right there at the bottom, before we press play there, you see Quesavir and Schmidt getting together. But what I want you to do is to focus a little further back there where Steve Lewis is, as well as, I think, Logan Boone right there. So I'm going to go ahead and press play and let you take a look here.
Boone was
That's exactly what happened.
Loose. Yeah.
So I think once again it was maybe it was not ARCA braking so much as overreacting or hitting the brakes or reacting to what was happening. Now a couple of those other hits,
yes,
you can
is
what
what
it is. But
Finnegan and Cowgill there, they can get the ARCA braking badge for that one.
Yes, for sure. But it looks like between the 88 and the 902, I think it is, they both definitely reacted and locked those brakes up. And again, we're on turn 2 of a restart, so that explains cold tires or anything like that could very well cause that.
Yeah, it very much can. Well, we got another caution, so we might as well bring up DDIRL ARCA. This season got underway this week. Eric Gambrill taking home the first win at Rockingham. It was another really, really fun race. If you guys watch this league at all over here on the BRN last season, you saw how high integrity and clean those races were. More often than not, Eagle, believe it or not, going green the entire way. The Rock, a very similar race, only one caution there, but a lot of that was because the field size. Only 12 drivers showing up for that first race, which is a little bit disappointing after the previous exhibition having over 20. But it is not too late. This race does have a drop race available this league does have a drop race available to it. So if you show up next week at Chicagoland, it's almost like nothing happened. You'll be in the same playing field as the rest of the field. This is a little bit different than what you see on Wednesdays. Obviously, a little bit smaller of a running order, but on top of that, you also have a lower I rating cap without the grandfathering policy. So a 2,600 I rating cap, which may be lowered to 25 even, Eagle, is what I'm hearing. But this is a great league for beginners to learn how to race around these guys. Also to learn how to race up front, because it is the opportunities are far more abundant, I should say, over there on ARCA, with just how unbelievably talented this league is over here on Wednesdays. can't recommend ARCA enough. That race, or that league, races at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Mondays, and it's a lapped race with a 90-minute time limit. Reason for that time limit is so it ends right as MRL Cup practice begins. That way, if you want to run double duty, you are more than welcome to, and you will not be disadvantaged with any less practice time than your competitors. So check that out, and if you'd like to join with that Discord link that we just showed on that flyer. I'll pull that up real quick before we go green again. Or just hit up me, Patrick Calgill, Mean G Money, Kevin Kyle, anyone you know, and we can get you signed up as we get ready for the pace car to pull off. It's going to be Cody Matthews and Kenneth Redinger in the front row.
All right, and we're going to take a look here and see if we can wrap this one up. We've got under, what are we down? 6 to go, I think, as we're heading down to the line right here. 7 to go. Yeah, we're about to hit 6 to go right now, and we are green. Cody Matthews continuing to take the outside. I don't blame him one bit for continuing to do that because it's been working.
Matthews doing a great job, as always, on that outside lane as this field continues to try to figure this out. As big squeezes there between the two Zachs. As you see Zach Engel, Zach Panzarella, Danny Sanchez right there on the outside of him. Behind them, it is the same story. Tons of drivers trying to figure out where they have room, and here we go.
Yep, we're going 3 wide here, lane changes and all sorts of things. Everybody's realizing that there is not many more laps here to try to get those final positions. And as we head through the turn here, let's see if they can keep it all together here.
Cody Matthews doing what he has to up front as he will take the 5 to go this time around. And we are under caution. It appears there is an incident. Oh, Lewis and Swingle. I feel like I've said that before today.
Yeah, we're going to have to dissect that one a little bit and see what ended up happening there.
How is that 88 in one piece?
He's definitely got 9 lives.
Yeah, he does.
For sure.
Cody Matthews going to hang on right here.
So I think we're going to take a look here and bring up the chopper here. I actually think we need to look at Dalton Geyer here in this situation. Okay. So I want you to take a look at that black truck on the left side here, the 36, as we press play here, this replay. He ended up getting into the swingle there, spins around, and then we have another one, Brandon Lolis. Yeah. So now after this replay, a little further up is when Swingle and Lewis, both with damaged vehicles, got back into each other and then spun out as well.
Look at this. This is Cody Matthews into the pits. Out of fuel, presumably, as well as Danny Sanchez. Danny Sanchez was the only other truck that pit on the same lap as Cody Matthews, Eagle. That has to be a fuel situation. Cody Matthews fought until the bitter end. Maybe if it had stayed green, it would have worked out for him. But now with overtime available to these drivers, it's a risk that may be too much to take. Heart-shattering moment there for the 10.
Yep, he did everything right and made the decision to stay out all of those times, got all those laps led, but it looks like now he's going to be back in the hornet's nest here as we are getting closer and closer to what appears to be either a green-white checkered or we're going to have a natural green-white checkered as well, one of those. Yeah,
I believe this will be our first green-white checkered. It's going to look like it's going to occur on lap 94 of this race is my guess. And yeah, it's going to be the first of 3 available to these drivers. Once we get to the 3rd, if we do, God willing, the next flag would end the race. But under these overtime conditions, we just need to get to the white flag. Once we get to the white flag, the next flag ends the race. But if we don't, we will rack it back up and pretend that never happened. And we will do that 3 times. So these drivers side by side, the front row consisting of a new cast of characters. Well, one new character, one that we really have not talked enough about today, Eagle. Chase Greer, currently in the front row with a chance to win his first DDIRL race.
Yeah, that's very interesting because, again, that's another truck that I've seen slowly creeping their way up front here. Him and Redinger, 2 trucks that I've really not seen up front only until this last little chunk here, this caution fest that we've had recently.
Yeah, Greer, I think maybe just, and as well as Panzarella in 3rd. We saw Panzarella back in 10th a few cautions ago. I think a lot of them just surviving it, picking up a couple positions every opportunity they get. They are on a little bit more advantageous tire situations than a few around them. Greer, not so much, actually. Greer pit back on lap 57, so he may be at a fuel disadvantage as well, Eagle. We'll have to see that with Greer as he will be having a lot of things on his mind, but I think when we get ready to go green here as he's next to Redinger, only thing he's got to be worried about is trying to get that 40 across the finish line first.
For sure, for sure. Now this is looking like we're going to be going green on lap 95, which means this is actually going to be a natural green-white checkered. So this does not officially count as one of our official 3 because it's a 96-lap race, and we will be starting lap 95 in T-minus a few seconds here as the 42 looks like he's the control car as we are going green 1 right now. There we are.
Not as good as Matthews, but still solid, and he looks like he's going to take Steffens with him.
Yep, good. A little push there from the 9. I think, honestly, if it wasn't for that push, we would have probably been side by side for first place with Greer sitting right there.
I totally agree.
Into turn 1.
Wow, nose cut off the 12 right there by Greer. Great move by the 40 of Greer to really use that air to his advantage. When you're at a tire disadvantage, that's how you get it done. These guys are going to try to get it down to the white flag here. We'll see if this race becomes official.
Yep, if they cross the line, next flag will end the race. So we just need to get 1/2 a lap here, a little less than that now, as Redinger continues to move, and we are cluster all the way back here for 10th place.
And you see Angle really tap the wall there. Oh no, Boone into Greer, into Gambrel. Volpus involved in that. It looks like, Schmidt involved on his lid is case of beer. And we cross the line, we're staying green.
We are green, so this race is going to be official here, and so we're going to go ahead and keep an eye on the leaders. We'll come back and dissect that after the race, but
yeah, we will.
Redinger, and we got Zach Steffens, Zach Panzarella here as we're heading down the backstretch here. 42 going on the outside, going to try to make sure to break that draft here of the 9. The 9's going to give him a shot here as we're coming down into 3, and 42's holding him good. I think he's going to have him here. I think he's got the 9. 9 gave it a really good shot there, but as we're coming down to the line, 42, Kenneth Redinger is going to come from behind there and take the win here at Auto Club after a big caution fest in the last part of the race.
Great job there by Redinger to close it out. And what a week that 42 driver is having, the winner of the drive for 5. He wins at Michigan, a very similar track over in MRL Arca back last Friday. And then here at Auto Club in the trucks gets it done. Back to back to back for Mr. Kenneth Redinger.
Yeah, for sure. What a great, great win. A lot of trucks taken out in that last lap wreck.
Well, let me know when you got that one, and we can take a look and see that mayhem, and we'll show you guys our final results, and we'll get the heck out of Auto Club. Sure, a few of these guys happy this place isn't here anymore.
Hopefully not a little bit of anger there. All right, we have the blimp cam. We want to take a look.
It's not showing what you want to hear from your replay guy. Here we go.
All right, taking a look here. Looking there at the 13 down there. And that's what started it. And look at that. 4 trucks right there.
Case of beer.
Need one of those pointers to circle there. Yeah, but
I know. I want one of those so bad, dude.
We need one of those right now to highlight that. And it was just, again, they're all on the racing surface. And in any other situation, the yellow comes out, but the white flag had already gone out.
Yeah, really could not have been timed more precisely right there for nearly bringing out yet another caution. Thank goodness we didn't. I'm sure a lot of those drivers would have appreciated one. But there it is. That's the end of that. Well, really not the end of the race, but coming to the white flag there, what took out a lot of our finishers, which I think are a lot of our front runners, I should say. And I think that's what we're going to see here as I pull up these race results. I think you'll see a lot of drivers. Ooh, look at those fireworks.
Yeah. All right. So some Zacks came back up to the front there, as you can see at the end here. So obviously Kenneth Redinger is going to take the win here tonight in dramatic fashion. But Zach Steffens rebounds from the pole, falls back, ends up finishing second. We have Panzarella. Zach Panzarella ended up falling back as well and coming back. Jay Stinson, after all of the issues that he had tonight and the issues with Ybarra, ends up rebounding with a 4th. And Matt Novella, last week's winner, comes out with a 5th. Continuing on to the top 10 there, we have Matthew Fritz, also with some issues. I feel like everyone I'm naming down here has had some issue today, and they rebounded. Chris Smith. Bradley King, someone we did not talk about all day today, and squeaked out a top 10 of this, so good job, Bradley, on that one. Zach Angle taking 9th, and Richard Swingle rounds out the top 10. Looking down at the next group, we have Glenn Grigsby with 11th, Josh Collins in 12th, Cody Matthews, again with that heartbreak, being able to lead all the way up to that final caution, having to go down pit road with 13th. Danny Sanchez, who's also up with him on a similar strategy, ends up with 14th. Brandon Shelton, who we saw was in a massive wreck earlier, must have used fast repair to get back to that 15th place. Logan Boone, 16th. Chase Greer, who again was up in the front there on that final restart, but unfortunately got caught up in that wreck, ended up going down to 17th. Eric Gambrill, we saw in front doing well in 18th. Dalton Connor, 19th. Dylan Schmidt, who led a lot of laps today with that different strategy, finished out 20th. Go ahead and take over and take us to the rest of the field.
Dalton Geyer involved in a late incident. He's going to round up in 21st. Chris Calgill, he was in a few today as well. Yeah, you were right. You're going to say this every time, aren't you? Chris Calgill ends up in 22nd. Jordan Finnegan, he will wind up 23rd. Joseph Volpis, one of the main characters of that final incident, and that cost him 20-plus positions. Volpis ends up 24th. Same goes for Justin Parham. He ends up 25th. And I think one thing that's going to be curious about these lap-down cars here, Eagle, is a few of them are a lap-down due to incident penalties that they were not able to serve as we get crossed for that white flag lap. For those who don't know, it's a drive-through penalty if you hit a certain amount of incidents in these races, which a lot of these drivers sure as heck did. But if you don't have the lap available to you to do that drive-through, they just count you a lap. We know that wasn't John the case of here because he crossed the start-finish line upside down. But we know we also didn't finish that lap. So that tells me that everybody down here has an incident penalty. Brendan Lowless, he's going to finish in 27th, one lap down. Steve Lewis is going to be 2 laps down in 28th. Kyle Lynott had a long day. He'll be in 29th. Jake Johnston involved in an earlier wreck. He'll be in 30th. Mark Zapp, 31st. And we're getting closer to the used car lot. Brendan Wybara, eventful day for the 04. Him and Stinson. He winds up in 32nd. Definitely got the worst of that. Tommy Fox, 33rd. We saw him in an incident earlier in this race. Austin Rayborn, 34th. Pfeiffer, earlier in this race, taken out. He will end up in 35th, 45 laps down. And Amato, like we said, did not roll off to start this race. Another chaotic one, Eagle. Another good one. This league showing that it's very, very much capable of those long, great green flag runs. Just a matter of getting more of them together. I think Sonoma is going to be a good palate cleanser next week.
Yeah, I think so for sure. It's going to be the complete opposite of this race tonight, where this is going to be tight racing, tough competition, high speed differential. Now, Sonoma will probably be that as well, as we're going to be interested to see who our road course ringers this year are going to be, who's going to be specialty on the road course. And there will be some that probably will not be. But because the track is so long and wide, and because there will not be any cautions, that is going to allow everyone to spread out and really be able to have their own race. And I look forward to seeing what competition we're going to be coming from that. I'm really, really excited for that Sonoma race coming up next week.
Yeah, and you oftentimes learn a lot about those new drivers, right? Those ones that you didn't know had that road racing ability within them. All of a sudden you show up to somewhere like Sonoma and you see a totally different driver. And then when you're around them in ovals, you're kind of a little more afraid of them because you know how much talent is in that driver. I cannot wait to get there, staying here in the, well, I can't say bright and sunny California, because I can tell you right now, Eagle, it's pouring rain right now. But still here in California. And you can catch all of this on VRN. Before we get out of here, I'll show you guys our schedule. Monday nights are underway with that doubleheader with the MRL Cup Series. So you can see at 8:30 Eastern PM, Hilltop Bullet broadcasting the DDIRL ARCA Series. And then right after that, practice begins, and about an hour, 45 minutes later, you will see the broadcast begin for the MRL Cup Series. Tuesday nights, check the Dennis Puckett BTT, the Bonfire, Big Truckin' Tuesday. Those guys are getting closer and closer to their playoffs. Joseph Volpis having one of the most dominant seasons in BTT history. What will happen next? Continue to check that one out. Great race there last night. And you just watched the Wednesday night MRL DDI Moonlight Truck Series. We will be at Sonoma next week following our race. Usually around 7:30 p.m. is when those go live. Be sure to check that out. Quantum Contender Series will be coming in October. Kevin Kyle will be the lead man in the broadcast booth there with a mystery man as his color commentator that he won't even tell me yet, Eagle. And then on Sunday, coming back soon, will be the BRL Cup Series, one of the most premier leagues that we have the privilege of covering here on VRN. That league will be starting back up soon. New admins, Sunday morning, rebroadcast immediately following the race. Get ready for that one. Great booth over there too. You can only find it here on VRN. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/@Vortex Racing Network.
All right, whYZee. So yeah, we're wrapping up here in Auto Club today for the Moonlight Truck Series. Any final thoughts before we sign off for the evening?
Really, big signs of progress, I think, is what I'm seeing. It's giving me reminiscence of the other league we just talked about, BTT, the Bonfire Truck Series. They brought in a lot of new guys, even bigger fields than what we're seeing over here sometimes on Wednesdays, and they had some growing pains as well, but they had a lot of forward progression, and I think that's what we're starting to see here in ARCA. I'm not sorry, not ARCA, here at Auto Club here and in trucks, and I think I would not be surprised to see some penalties over there at Sonoma, but maybe that will also be another thing that adds to continuing to get this league being the best show in iRacing like we know it has the ability to be.
Yeah, I would agree, and I'll just add on top of that I really think that we focus so much today on the incidents and the cautions and the retaliations and stuff, but you know what I saw in between all of those cautions is I saw some really amazing racing.
Yes.
We had 3 and 4 wide action. We had just as many saves as we had cautions today. And we saw that a lot of cases where guys got loose and guys almost wrecked and they were able to get it back together. So I see a lot of promise. I see a lot of excitement, competition, the competitive nature here. How many leaders did we have? Kenneth Rediger being able to come back and get a win. And here we are. We are 4 races into the season. And we have 4 different winners. So let's start keeping an eye on that now, because I think we're going to have a large number of winners in this MRL DDI Moonlight Truck Series this year. So looking forward to a completely different track next week at Sonoma. We're going to hit the road course out in wine country, and we are going to see who is going to prevail out on the road. So that's where we're going to wrap things up tonight here. This is MRL Eagle. And again, thank you, whYZee, for working tonight and being able to talk Auto Club here at your home track. I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to Sonoma next week. And again, check out everything else that VRN has to offer.